Here's another one sure to make these idiots mad. They're still mad about that smiling emoji. I'm gonna put it in the title. It just gets to the one. These idiots. It's like their feelings. I don't like I said. I don't see how their feelings are actually hurt. Like your feelings. It's like if you're an invading army. Your feelings don't get hurt. You might get offended because, like, say you're invading a small town, and they have the audacity to try to talk back. I'm being funny. I'm joking. That's what I'm saying. And like, you have the power, but when you're trying to invade, and you're the ones that are in danger because and your only hope is to use sympathy. Play scared, play sick, play oppressed to win the war. You can't afford to get offended. You know. So yeah, they get these idiots to this day. They get mad about, and I would keep doing it. The uh the one, the showing teeth emoji. When you let me pull it, see if I can pull up the keyboard. If you can see that little emoji right there, that one, that emoji. These idiots literally get bent out of shape. These. So anyway, this video really gonna make them mad. The stupid ones, the ones we call stupid. This morning, I don't know, for some reason I thought about the '80s jokes. The comedian in Soviet Russia. Spoon. Food forks you. Whatever his jokes was. It was funny, but by 88, 89, it was funny. It was just because it was old school by then. And we were older. It's just, you probably in high school or whatever, you fucking up, Soviet Russia teacher, kicks you, or something like that. It just, everybody recognized what it was from, even though, it's just everybody recognized the old Yakov jokes. But, all right, so then, there's the fall of the Soviet Union. So for some reason, I just wanted to find that joke because it reminds me of these idiots, these, black folks. Black folks wanting to be communists, as socialism, those. But then I thought about it, a lot of these idiots who are about to be 30, they were born after the fall of communism in Russia. So, they saw repeats maybe of Rocky Four. They don't understand all of that shit about how bad it was. Them early 80 movies. So even the comedy movies, Spies Like Us, all that shit about people trying to defect from Russia. And it's the funny, the hypocrisy, just not even I want to say audacity or hypocrisy. That is not that, not even audacity, just the stupidity of niggas wanting to be communists. And the fact, first of all, the mob, and the Soviet mob, not the Soviet mob, the Russian mob. There was no mob in Russia before the fall of communism because they couldn't. Everything was the government. And so I pulled up Yakov and I see some of his interviews. I saw one, and it looks like it's only 8 months old. It's from and he's talking about, again, he's just reminiscing about his childhood. And he's talking about, how he was, the person interviewing, they couldn't believe he was a comedian already before he left in the 70s and came to America. When I was young, I always thought he defected. That was a thing in the 80s. They go to, in the action movies, got a defector, we got to protect him. I always thought he defected, but he explains he got out. They gave him a visa, and he explains it. And, I had did a little bit of research, well, not research. And you can see this woman, these two white folks. I'm going to play part of the interview. I'm going to leave a link. But to these folks, I guess, because it's really, y'all don't understand right now. And it was only 8 months ago. So the cancel culture here was and it's like, they missed the perfect opportunity to ask someone who actually lived in the Soviet Union, in the 60s and 70s as a kid and a teenager in the 20s, 20 something. And yeah, I'm like, y'all don't see the parallels between cancel culture and he explained how the government would come and take your houses. Like if you have a big house, they're gonna come take your house and make other families live in your house. It's like, and the niggas, y'all know we can't live together. You gonna live with other black families inside the same house, not even in the projects. Like, say, celebrities, they gonna come. If you go full communist, he explained how they would come take your house, and maybe like 10 families would live in one house. And this is a fact. This is what happened. And dumb niggas really want to, we're going to be Marxists like BLM and Antifa. We want to be socialist, communists, listening to, remember Bernie Sanders talk about he want to be a socialist. Socialism works and communism. I'm like, how can black folks of all people support this? But they, like I said, like that chick right there, she's probably only, she's probably professional, I don't know her. But the point is, she don't understand, they gonna come take all your shit, you gonna do the same job you're doing now, but for nothing, for free. A small pittance, a small, what you're making now. And, he explained, he just explains everything. And my thing with the interviewers, it's like they again, it's like they, for one, they even though it sounds like maybe amazement, they don't believe his story. And it looks to me in his eyes, it looks like he's just reminiscing, really just telling it. It's not even he's lying. To me, it looks, you can see it in his face. He's just reminiscing about when he was a kid. It wasn't hard, like getting beat, but yeah, how bad it was. All the families he tells has mother and dad if they wanted to have sex because there was so many families in one house, not like a building like in the projects. You got your own apartment, it might be 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom. The projects, no, you're inside one house. Your 3 bedroom house, there's 4 families inside. But you could tell, what? Remember I was just talking about that. Like when I first got out of the military, and the Mexicans, remember I said my first apartment when I got home, there was a Mexican family, well, not even a family, Mexican families next to my apartment, in the apartment next door. And, so they're used to living family to family, family. But my thing was, remember I said it in the video last week, they left. They only came for 3 or 4 years. So if I had somewhere to go, I guess like joining the military for 4 years, but you can make that much money and go back, with the exchange rate, American dollars and Mexican dollars. Yeah, I guess I could sleep on the floor. I'm thinking about the inside of my own apartment. So I could sleep on the floor for 4 years, but if I'm working, you're not there that much anyway. You're working, you got your weekends free. You can use the bathroom, you can use the kitchen, but shit, I wouldn't even be cooking. You making that much money, and think about it, the rent, that apartment, maybe the rent was $500 a month. You got 5 grown-ups, 5 different families, the wife and the husband, all in this squeezed in this small ass apartment. You got to share one bathroom. Yeah, it's hard, but you got that goal to drive you. This is only, you can talk to, this only 3 more years of this shit. Y'all be like, yeah, because we were born here. To us, no, I couldn't do that. That's what I'm saying. Y'all are going to communism. That's listen to what he say about how bad it was in Soviet Russia. It's Soviet Russia. He didn't tell the jokes. He's being interviewed.
They're leaving, right. They're like rats leaving the ship, it's like, so they would make everything, it took us 2 years to get out, and the first thing they do, they fire you from work, and so you have no means, so most people watching this struggle go, I'm not doing that, and so we were able to, my dad was an inventor, and he was able to create something that...
what he's explaining right there, because they, because I think they're around my age. So, we knew from all just the stories in the 80s, like I said, even the movies. Remember Rocky IV, Drago, how hard it is to get out. And he's talking about he got out in the 70s. And he explains, of all places, where? The Ukraine. It's like, wait a minute, I didn't even know that till just today. Like, yeah, I got Smiller from the Ukraine. Ukraine always pops up in American business, but anyway. Anyway, I remember I said there's no such thing as coincidence. But anyway, so uh, he explains what happened. You know, he was able to be a comedian. He was a comedian in Soviet Russia. He explains how hard it was, though. Just I ain't gonna, you just gotta watch that, look it up. And they what they do, they was letting people out because they were starving. Again, communism. And Jimmy Carter was the president here. He explains for like 10,000 tons of wheat. Seriously, wheat. That he said that's what it was. They let out, and they had to do something humanitarian and let out a few people who wanted to leave, and he was one of those people who wanted to leave. But the thing was, they said the kicker, you had to take your parents with you because they didn't want to take your parents. You know, they getting old, they in their 60s, 70s, they didn't want to take care of them. And he also explains what they did that was real dirty. They fired you from he had a job as a comedian. They fired you from your job, and it took about 2 years before the process to go through. You know, so I guess by the time he got, this was in 74 when they started, and then he didn't leave to come here till 76. So they fired you. So for them 2 years, you suffering. And what it was to dissuade people from voluntarily wanting to come to America, you know, because they want to stay over. They want them to stay. And he also explained, also the older parents, they would just say, no, I'm just going to stay here, depending on the government in Soviet Russia, you know. And, you know, he explains it all. So they did what they were supposed to do per the agreement with Jimmy Carter. Let a few people get these visas or whatever. You can leave, go whatever country. But he said they was, you know, they fire you from your little state job and, you know, make it hard on you. Then you're going to come here penniless. But he said he was already a comedian in Soviet Russia. And you know, the interview is, you know, for a second it is hard to believe. But if you do some more research and look at his 84 comedy, he explained all that in his just type in his name. It's like, y'all ain't do your research? His routine on Johnny Carson, he explained how he was a comedian in Soviet Russia. Yeah, they really just censorship, what they're trying to do now. But this was in the 60s and 70s. They had a department that you sent your jokes to. You couldn't do political jokes, you know, religious jokes, this and that. Just like cancel culture here. You can't say that. But instead of the government doing it, it's regular people doing it. Celebrities, black folks. All the people you would think that would be against all of this oppression. That's the real oppression. You know, all this stupid shit. You can't cancel culture. And that's like the lesson that you would learn from this dude. And like I said, I remember as a kid, you know, his little routines. You didn't understand how deep it was. And actually how it would actually become true, goddamn, 30-some years later, you know, in America. They're trying to, you know, take over and turn it to, and it's like, niggas, why would you want to live in a government control where they could come take your house that you worked for? And next year, if they become communists, that house or your grandparents left you or your mama left you, and take it. You still gonna be there, but instead the government controls it and they move it. It's a 3-bedroom house. They move 2 families in with you, and y'all all got to share. You know, they take your job. You still got the same job, but now you get paid less because it's everybody's money. It's the people. Y'all so stupid. Y'all thought that was a good thing. Kumbaya. Make it the people. Oh, we're going to give it, redistribute it. It's going to look, you know, y'all going to be looking stupid. Especially you niggas, you love your haircuts. I love my haircuts too, but I'm just saying, it's not going to be the same. You're not going to be the one flashing with a Mercedes and all this and that. You know, it's not going to be like that. The country can't afford that constantly. But anyway, so I know they're going to, plus there's another channel I found, the interviewers. I just left some comments because they get mad when I just happen upon, because now they're going to have to flood that channel. They probably didn't know that channel existed either. I don't know what made me think of it this morning, but now they're going to have to flood that channel. If I start leaving comments on there, they're going to have to start leaving comments. So another channel they're going to have to go to and probably maybe even approach these people in person so they can start making videos, you know, street theater and me. So now they got to try to, but these people look like liberals anyway. The interviewers, they look like to white liberals. Maybe they're not, but I'm just going off like the old days. You know, I'm old school. I can go. You go by looks.
A library or a Dan
I ain't say they
or
look like racists. I said they look like
whatever.
liberals. Well,
So there
yeah,
was
those are racist.
nine families in one apartment. So I tell a joke that, when my parents wanted to be romantic and we were living in the same room, they would send me to look out the window. And then my dad would say, so what do you see in the window? I said, our neighbor's being romantic. And he said, how can you tell? I said, because their son is looking at me. So that was the life that we lived. No phone, no car, long lines for food. It was just normal Soviet um, existence.
Yeah.
How long does it take between the first thought of I'm going to leave and actually, you know what I mean? Like when do you start going like I'm gonna get out of here?
I'll tell you.
All right, so yeah, the thing they're gonna be mad about this. I'm still trying to figure. I mean, I think it's really they're scary, they're weak, cowardly people. That's all it is. They don't support it, but they don't want no fight. You know, I don't want no trouble. Not from Massa. They just really scared of these Democrats. They do not want a fight. They don't want no drama. But if it's one of us, they about that life with their mouth. But if you put hands on them, they call them the police, all types of shit. You going to jail? Then they with the police. Now they in theory defund the police, but when you whoop their ass, you going to jail. You see the hypocrisy about these cowards, niggas, man. All this they get. I said they just. All of us aren't like that. You can tell. All black folks aren't like that. They pick the scary ones. You can tell who's scary. I just want to sit. I'm satisfied with what I got. I don't need too much. And they try to make it like the rest of us aren't satisfied. It's like, no, if God put that on your mind and heart, if he put it on your heart to be satisfied, it's you. Everybody different, bro. Or sis, you can't, we all not the same. You can't hold us back. You gonna get hurt real bad. You need to cut it out. Stop it. Just cause you satisfied with what you got, that don't mean we have to be satisfied. We don't have to be. We wasn't born here for that. I'm telling you need to cut it out if you value, what you got. I ain't even talking about the material possessions.